But let me tell you why I feel very honored and privileged to be part of this competition. If you are not doing your best, you are not contributing to your quarter to the socio-economic advancement of your country or your community, you will never be recognized. I think it's because of my challenges I am facing, because of my participation nationally and internationally, I'm given the privilege, the honor to be part of you today. And I feel very delighted. These are some of the gatherings I always wish to be there. Because I believe one thing today, you are a student. I undergo through the same process. But you have a long way to go. You need to continue listening to your parents and continue respecting your teachers. They are your future. You can't make it without these two components. I believe one thing, I think apart from the motivation and the determination, I believe social justice. I believe there should be justice in any aspect of life. Even your dogs at home or cat at home, they have a right to live. Am I not right? Wrong or right? Your cats and dogs at home, they have a right to live. When you eat, you think of them. So that if you are sleeping, your dog will be there to be a watchman. Am I wrong or right? So I believe there should be justice. It's because of the marginalization, because of segregations and negligence by our authorities, by our family members. I have to stand up to make sure that we fight for it, to make sure that there's equality. That marginalization cannot continue. The segregation cannot continue. The negligence by our duty bearers as well as the family members cannot be condoned. One or two has to be there to make sure that to call their attention that there should be equality. And because of that injustice, I had to be employed, and I make sure that I become national and international disability advocacy or disability rights activists in the country. I struggled till I completed my secondary and primary school. I struggled to go to Senegal High School. From there, I continued to go to British Telecom School. I think Jara can attest to that. Where you call GTTI Banjul Annex today, it was never GTTI Banjul Annex. In 83, 84, 85, it was called British Telecom School, near Muslim High School. It was owned by Gamtel. By then, Gamtel was not Gamtel, it was British Telecoms. Gamtel became Gamtel in 1984 under the leadership of Bakar Njai. I did my intensive course at British Telecom School to study telecommunication under that unconducive environment. But thanks to God and thanks to my determination, and with the support of some of the individuals in the country, I was able to complete my intensive course at the British Telecom School. And out of 85 students, I came second. Out of 85. All these records are with Gamtel. And I remember 2 weeks after we were called for an interview. I went for the interview. It was another segregation. It was another challenge. When I was called at the interview, the man in charge of the interview is still alive. I mentioned his name last time on one of my program at Paradise TV on Tuesday. The man is still alive. By looking at my nature, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you cannot take part in this interview." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because we need an able person, not disabled." In fact, he used the language handicap. From today, learn from me that handicap is an insult language. Learn it from today that using the word handicap is an insult to us. From the CRPD, you know what CRPD means? That is the Convention of Rights of Persons with Disability, stated by United Convention by UN agencies, where our Gambia was not left behind. They signed the treaty because they are now going to be part of and parcel of it. With thanks to the government of the day, the government of the First Republic and the second signed that treaty to make sure that we are part and parcel of the CRPD, Convention of Rights of Persons with Disability. When I look at the gentleman telling me that I won't be able to do the job, I laugh. You know, I started fighting from my family. Remember, let me tell you the story. We were only 2 brothers in the family. The rest are sisters. And because I became persons with disability at the age of 11 years, my younger brother of the same mother and father was going to school. They deprived me from going to school. You know what they said? I should go to Dara or Madrasa. Is it Madrasa? To go and learn and become a Marabu. What a bloody word is that? You know why I call it a bloody word? Should every individual be a Marabu? Should every individual become something that is not your will, it's not your intention? Should that right? There my mother and my father deprive and they seize my fundamental human right. But thanks to God, you know, yes, there are certain things I would say they are God creation. But God will never come down to create you in that form. It's left to you to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. That yes, you will face the challenges, but God also has created you to be something else. So you need to do what you are supposed to do to realize the dream. It's come to my mind that if my younger brother is sent to school, how about me? Is it because I'm on the wheelchair? In fact, that time I didn't have a wheelchair. I told my grandmom, because I was brought up by my grandmom, when I was able, and when I become disabled, my grandmom insists that I will not go to my mother and father. But instead, my father has the privilege to come and see me. But when I fight from the grassroots that I'm supposed to go to school, and I was accepted by my grandma, I was sent to school. Then my first day going to school, do you know what happens? I was seated on the bicycle, this ordinary bicycle. Somebody put me there to push me to the school. I take it with good faith, and I did my primary school. Within 1 week or 2 weeks, there was a lady called Mrs. Christensen, may her soul rest in private peace, working at the RBTH. In those days, you know, now technology has gone to a level that you organize this platform very comfortable. And the students are intelligent now because of technology and scientific methods. Our time was different. Christensen was going around to the primary schools and unfortunately met me without a wheelchair. And they brought a wheelchair from hospital. And there I started moving. But let me just cut the story because the sun is short. All these things is to tell you that you need to be determined in life even if you are able. Moreover, you are differently able. You know why we are called differently able? That was caused by the United Nations Convention of Other Persons with Disability. That we should be called differently able. You can do it in another way around. I can do it in another way around. And at the end of the day, we all deliver. So we are differently able.